some A-star players will come into your business, understand how it works, leave and grow a bigger business than you.
What if you don't train your team up and they stay? So you always want to be pushing your team to be as good as they possibly can. If they leave, they leave.
You can put so much complexity into hiring, but if you just sit and look at the person, be like, can they perform? Have they got the potential? And are they going to put the effort in? And if those three are yes, what have you got to lose? You've got to take an element of risk when hiring someone. We learnt about this in Goldman Sachs. So we're talking about culture, team, growing a team. Who do you hire? How do you hire? A lot of people are believers that if you meet someone good, hire them, not dependent on their technical skills or the relevant skills in the industry, which to some degree I do agree with. What I love about Goldman is it makes conversations that I've had with maybe you, Ben, or other business owners that have just been very loosely sort of, had this good employee, but they decided to move on. And when we sort of looked at this graph, which was on the left-hand side, it really did resonate home. So if the performance is high, that's kind of okay in any capacity, because if their potential is low, they might still be just someone that keeps pushing the cogs in the machine and just keeps the business operating, doesn't need much attention or time or energy or whatever it may be. And they're probably more like the tempos and the steels. Looking on the right hand side is a personality profile that Ben and I talked back when we were talking about the property entrepreneur weekend that we did, that Ben's obviously now on. And then you've got the high performance, high potential, which could potentially fall into someone that's dynamo profile, who eventually might leave the business. So that is the problem. And when the lecturer was talking about this, I was like, shit, we've had that before, where you hire someone, they're great, you grow the business collectively with them and they come up with new ideas. But sometimes those high performance, high potential candidates can leave your business. And that is what I believe is wrong with having all A-star players, that a lot of those people that can offer those skills to your business may end up going out and doing it on their own. And coincidentally, the lecturer actually said some A-star players will come into your business, understand how it works, leave and grow a bigger business than you. And it just sort of made me laugh. Not that we've necessarily had that just yet. The principle of, even if someone is just an absolute taskmaster and just does things over and over again consistently in a routine business, that is also very valuable. And then it goes on to like high potential, low performance. We've had that before in our business. And how long do you hold on to that problem child? And then we've got low potential, low performance, which is known as an iceberg. And if it gets to the point where you just can't see the trajectory of them either improving their performance or their potential, you let them go. And coincidentally, I actually read a book on hiring once, and I feel that you can put so much complexity into hiring, but if you just sit and look at the person and be like, can they perform? Have they got the potential? And are they going to put the effort in? And if those three are yes, what have you got to lose? You've got to take an element of risk when hiring someone. And that just, for me, simplifies it significantly more.
Yeah, it's always a concern. There's some absolute superstars in our businesses and you don't want to lose them. I think one thing that we've said on numerous occasions is that when somebody has left that you think, oh my God, like what we're going to do without them, the person that has come in has actually been even better in certain situations and certain tasks and this sort of stuff. So it's never the end of the world, but why wouldn't you want to keep your superstars and your A-star players within the business? Because you want A-team players throughout the business, whether they're, like you say, this backbone kind of high performance, sort of low potential, or whether they're the superstars, which are high performance, high potential. I think there's one thing, I think it was, I don't know, Richard Branson maybe said it about train up your team and they leave. And his sort of response to that was, well, what if you don't train your team up and they stay? So you always want to be pushing your team to be as good as they possibly can. If they leave, they leave. That's their prerogative. What you want to be doing to keep them is creating the culture that constantly challenges them. Most of the time when you're in that kind of superstar bracket, you don't leave a job because of generally pay or bad bosses. It's because you're not being challenged enough and you're not being given tasks that constantly help you get to the next level. Because when you are a superstar and you're a high achiever, you're always looking for that next challenge, next hurdle, next hurdle, next hurdle. So if you're not satisfying that as a business owner, that's really where people get demoralized and, really start to look elsewhere for other jobs. If they're constantly being pushed and challenged, they want to fulfill that high potential that we're saying they've got, and we know that they have. It's more about, I would say, culture and nurturing those people to be as good as they possibly can be and constantly challenging them that's going to keep them rather than anything else.